Across the plains of the world, wild horses have raced down through time. Scientists believe they were the first of the Earth's animals, growing through thousands of centuries from 1 foot tall to their present size. To survive 45 million years while other species perished, the horse had to have great speed, strength, and stamina, and he has them today, whether running wild to ford swift streams like his untamed ancestors, or bedded down in the bluegrass plush of a Kentucky breeding farm. Kentucky's bluegrass is reserved for blue blood. For here, in a multi-million-dollar industry, the racing greats of yesterday beget the racing greats of tomorrow. Frisky colts strengthen their spindly legs by chasing after mama. For them, the big adventure lies ahead. For the oldsters comfortable in their stalls, the big adventure lies behind. If horses dream, they may look back to the noise, the excitement, and the color of the track. What race fan could forget the parade to the post, the final tense moments, and then the voice of racing's best-known commentator, Clem McCarthy?
They're off. It's a good start on a fast track with a big purse whizzing for the winner. Into the turn, the large field provides a beautiful picture. At the top of the stretch, here's a railbird's eye view of the oncoming horses. Now the greatest thrill in racing, a neck-and-neck finish with stagehand on the outside, winning by a nose. Mishaps add to the uncertainty of the sport. This favorite never got into the running. Doggone. On the first turn, a triple header. Nobody put glue on his saddle. In the backstretch, another racing hope bites the dust. With high-spirited thoroughbreds, there's time for trouble even after the race is over and won. Whoa, boy, whoa.
Reserved for the truly great alone is the two-horse match race. Several decades ago, one such race pitted Sir Barton, first Triple Crown winner, against the one and only Man o' War.
Man o' War forged ahead almost from the beginning. It was a romp for America's most famous horse, who was to race only 21 times, winning 20 and establishing 5 U.S. track records. He finished 7 lengths in front. Another victory for the legendary Man o' War.
Some said the beautiful War Admiral was the greatest horse descended from Man o' War. Others said the stubby Sea Biscuit. In 1938, a match race was held to decide.
Galloping neck and neck down the backstretch, Sea Biscuit and War Admiral looked like a single horse. It was one of the most thrilling races I ever saw. Around the turn, they still seemed like a team in double harness. The unbelievable deadlock remained unbroken until the home stretch. Then Sea Biscuit started to pull ahead, with Jockey Wolf urging him on. Sea Biscuit finished in a blaze of glory, winning going away to become, for his day, America's undisputed thoroughbred champion.
In 1942, Alsab met Whirlaway.
Alsab inside, Whirlaway outside. What the finish? Alsab by a nose.
For trotting fans, the race of the year is the Hambletonian. Here at dusty Good Time Park outside the quiet country town of Goshen, New York, a season of harness racing around the Grand Circuit comes to a climax in the Corn Tassel Derby. For many a modern David Harum, nothing can match a fine trotter's flying hoofs. Even in that final desperate plunge for the wire, they must never break from a trot. A horse has to be cool to be a champion in the Hambletonian. Since 1873, the Preakness has thundered down Maryland's Pimlico track. Here's Clem to pick 3 stirring finishes from the run for the Black-Eyed Susans.
This was one I'll never forget. Bold Venture and Granville, hardly a whisker apart. Bold Venture on the outside, edges ahead to victory. I remember, too, how the crowd shrieked, "Pompoon has got him!" But the great-hearted War Admiral on the outside pushed his nose in front to win by inches. Capot's standoff of the on-rushing Palestinian was another in the tradition of the thrill-packed Preakness.
In America, one race stands alone. This is it. This is the Kentucky Derby. On Derby Day at Churchill Downs, the nation's richest racing tradition is well mixed with mint juleps, record crowds, and the spirit of carnival. As many as 100,000 fans jam the park. Most of them back the horse of their choice. Some of them don't even get to see the race, but all of them share in the unequaled excitement of the Derby. Go ahead, Clem.
The starter waves them into their stalls. High-strung horses seem to scent. A steady jockey, sit still, and they're off for the most thrilling 2 minutes in all of sports.
But let's flash back to 1918 for another 2 minutes of another Kentucky Derby.
That was the year that Exterminator romped home. This great horse, later to win 50 of 100 starts, was unknown then and paid $61.20 for every $2 ticket. In 1921, Derby fans leaped for a look at the field of 12. Most of the way around, Colonel Bradley's black servant held the lead, but the other half of the Bradley entry, trained by Derby Dick Thompson, Behave Yourself, swept by to win.
In 1929, the rains came. Churchill Downs was a bedlam as the crowd scurried for shelter.
It was like walking on flypaper. Look at that river down by the rail. But races are run, rain or shine, and the horses galloped over a track surface that seemed ready to swallow them up like quicksand. That day, little Clyde Van Dusen splashed through the mud to the last important victory of his racing career.
1933 saw a battle royal between spectators and track police.
A little too much fighting spirit seemed to get into the race as well. After a rough last furlong, Jockey Meade, aboard the winner, broke her stiff, slugged it out with Jockey Fisher on the second-place head play. In 1936, periscopes helped the crowd get a better look at a long shot's triumph. Winning by a head from the oncoming Brevity, Full Venture at 20-1 took the race. In 1944, the Ben Jones train Pensive, sire of Ponder, set a pattern of victory his son was later to follow. In 1947, Jet Pilot on the inside held off Phalanx and Faultless to win the Derby's first photo finish. 1948 was Citation's year to come home all by himself for Eddie Artero's 4th Derby victory. Now 1949, with Ponder on the outside, passing the leaders, this plain Ben Jones long shot wrote a rousing finish to the Diamond Jubilee running of the Kentucky Derby.
Roughest and toughest of all races is England's grueling Grand National. For over 100 years, crowds at Aintree have watched big fields take off in a jump-studded steeplechase, which many horses start, but few horses finish. After 4.5 miles and 30 treacherous jumps, 2 tired horses gamely fight a homestretch duel. It's a close finish in a race where it's an honor to finish it all, the Grand National.
Though none has achieved Grand National fame, since 1834, America has staged steeplechases of her own. Many of these are sponsored by hunt clubs and ridden by amateur jockeys, but the jumps are just as tough and the falls just as hard. This horse is smart.
For centuries, the spectacle of galloping horses has fascinated sportsmen. There'll always be thoroughbreds with heart and men of skill and daring to ride them. And there'll always be racing fans to thrill to the cry of,
They're off!